As the school's closed, I thought it'd be easier if we could just learn some Python programming. Obviously, because it's fun and you can do this at home, and we need to do it at some point anyway, so may as well do it now. Now, firstly, you may want to download Python. It's very easy to do. Just download any version. Sorry, just trying to escape this slideshow here. Any version of Python free. So if you just put in on Google download Python free, there we go, and the first thing that comes up is download Python. Now download any version of Python free, it doesn't matter. Version 3.77 is fine. Okay, so the version I've got that I'm using is 3.70 if you want exactly the same version as me. Okay, right, so that's that done. Now, so what we're going to look at today, I'm just going to quickly put this on slideshow. Success criteria. I want you to understand the outputs in Python, and I want you to understand the purpose of different data types and create a program with various data types and compare the data types. Now, I suggest you watch all the instructions in the video. Then when I tell you to pause the video and complete the task, you pause the video and you complete the task, okay? And then obviously once you're done, you resume the video. Okay, right, so firstly, I've got my Python file open here, but we don't work in the shell, okay? So I want you to go to File, a new file, and then you can save this. Okay, so go File, Save As, and I've made a folder in my documents called COVID School Closure. There we go, COVID closure work, and I'm going to put it in my Year 10 folder. So I'm going to call it Python Practice. Now, I am aware that you have had practice with Python, so practice because we're practicing. I am aware that you've used Python before, okay, with me in other years and also with me recently, but we're just going to go through things again and then we're going to build up from there. Okay, so firstly, let's take a look at this. So what is Python? So you may have remembered me telling you this before, possibly. So it's a general purpose programming language, and it can be used in any modern computer or operating system, and it's used for processing text, numbers, image and scientific data. So big operations do use it, or have used it in the past, such as Google, YouTube, NASA and the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, now the great thing about Python is that I find it very versatile and very easy to use. Okay, and it is a high level language. Now, as we remember in class, a high level language is a language that is closer to English, basically, or human languages. Low level languages are ones that only the computer understands, and it tends to be numbers like 0 and 1. Okay, moving on. So, what are strings? Now, Python don't recognize characters or anything like that, because as you remember in other classes, and what we've learned is that a computer only knows two things, and that's 0 and 1, and everything else has to be interpreted for us. Okay, so now strings are recognized for the opening and closing speech marks, which you've used before, and I think of them as a string because they're not any particular length. Okay, so how long is a piece of string? Well, it's however long you need it to be. So let's get some practice in now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type a string. Okay, so I'm going to put hello world, the school is closed. Okay, now I'm going to run this, and I hope you remember what happens when I run it. Okay, the program's run, but it's not working. Now, why is it not working? Okay, is there anything wrong with it? No, there's nothing wrong with it. Basically, it has processed the string, it has output the program, but we can't see it, and we need to see our output. Okay, so now to see our output, you've got to tell it to print it on the screen. So I'm going to type print, and I'm going to open and close these brackets here, and now when I run it, it's going to be a different story. So, hello world, the school is closed. Okay, so right, now you're going to practice that, and I know you've practiced it before possibly, okay, but just give it another go. Okay, so create a few outputs of your choice, just 5 minutes, 2 minutes. I'd like you to pause the video now and practice those outputs. Welcome back. Right, so let's take a look a little bit further into this. So we just basically, all we're doing now is cementing our knowledge, okay? So what's wrong here in this first print screen? Okay, you may remember this because I may have shown you this before. Okay, hopefully you've told me that the print has got a capital P, so it doesn't know what to do. What's wrong here? Okay, hopefully you've said that the speech mark's not closed. Okay, so the computer doesn't know the string is finished. Anything wrong with this? Hopefully you've just said no. So the print function shouldn't have a capital P. We need to close all strings, okay, by closing the speech marks, just like you do in your English lesson. And here, there's nothing wrong with this program. It does work, okay, but there's no print function. So it's going to run the program, but it's not going to output it on the screen for you to see. Right, so variables. Now, what are variables? Now, variables are exactly what they say on the tin. They're variables. They can change unless you set them to something, okay? So they're an object that can change into whatever the user desires. They vary, okay? So if you type in your name, it's going to return by saying your name, okay? Like hello John rather than hello name, okay? So here's an example that we've used before. So you've got print here, hello, going to get the user to input their name, print hello plus name. You're familiar with this, okay? But you're going to practice it. So, it's all I've got to do here is I can put name equals, please tell me your name, okay? And I just want to tidy it up here like this, okay? And then you can get it to print the variable like this, okay? I'm going to run it. And I'm going to type in please tell me. It says please tell. Oh, I've made a mistake. I hope you've noticed that. I didn't put my input, did I? Okay, so guess what? It weren't going to work. Right, here we go. So there you go. Miss Price isn't perfect, is she? Right, let's go. All right, so I'm going to put in my name, Miss Price. There we go, and it just simply prints Miss Price. Now, I can make this a little bit better, okay? So I can put in hello, close the speech marks, and I'll put a comma there, and now I'm going to run it again, and tell me your name, Miss Price. Okay, so now I can make another variable up here, okay? So, for example, I'm just going to put TV, okay? And I'm going to put an input, okay? So, open the brackets, input. What TV do you like to watch, okay? And I'm going to put in here, then I'm going to break this up here, and I'm going to put you like to watch, and I'm going to put in here TV, okay? So I'm just going to run that. Right, Miss Price, and I like to watch EastEnders. I love EastEnders. Just because I moved to Spain doesn't mean to say I've stopped watching it, okay? Now when I press enter, Oh, there's a problem. Okay, so it says TV is not defined. Okay, there we go. Can you see the mistake I've made here? So here it's small caps, okay, lowercase, sorry, and here it's caps. So it doesn't recognize that, okay? Now what you should always do is never, ever, ever underestimate, okay, reading the errors, okay, because they will tell you sometimes what the errors are. Well, most of the time, you just got to read it. Now I'm going to run that again. Okay, so I'm going to put Miss Price. TV I like to watch is EastEnders. Okay, there we go. Hello, Miss Price, you like to watch EastEnders? Yes, I do. Okay, right, now, you've got a task, okay, and I'd like you to create a short program to practice your inputs, and then we're moving on after that, okay? So pause this video for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you need. Practice it, perfect it, okay? Read your errors, and then we're going to move on. Hello and welcome back. So we're going to continue looking at our data types here. So after you've created the inputs. So we've got string, which we've been using, holds alphanumeric characters. And we've got integers, which hold whole numbers that allow mathematical calculations. Then we've got float, which are decimal numbers. And character, which holds like a single alphanumeric character. And Boolean, which holds true or false. So I'm just going to demonstrate to you what these different characters do. Okay, so here's an example. So we've got name, which you can put str. Input, please enter your name. And then age could be an integer because it is a whole number. Okay, so now firstly, we've seen string, we've used it. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate integers to you. Okay, so for example, we've got num1, and we're going to put that as an input, okay? And you can see that I've hashtagged out my other, so it doesn't work. So we're going to put input a number to add, okay? Right, so it's like as if we're making a little calculator. Then I've got num2, and I'm going to just simply put an input, okay? And I'm going to just ask the same thing here. Now down here I want it to print the answer. Okay, so I'm going to put the answer is, and I'm going to get num1 and I'm going to add num2. Okay, right, now when I run this, okay, so I'm going to put in 25 and 25, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so what do you think happens? Now the answer could be 50 if we're adding them together, but it's not. They've put 25 and 25, so they've added 25 and 25 together literally. Okay, right, so that is called concatenate. So what it's done is it's concatenated both those numbers, but according to Python, these aren't numbers. Is all we've done is we just put an input in. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to change the data type. Okay, and I'm going to put int input, okay, and close the brackets here. And I'm going to run this program again. Okay, so I'm going to put 25 and 25 again. This time it's put the answer is 50. So that is why data types are important, okay? And the same as you can use other operators, okay? So like for example, I can use multiply. So I'm going to multiply these two numbers. So 25 times 2 is 50. There we go, okay? So that's the int and the input, and the same with here. So if we, like, for example, here we can, you know, say this is a string, so str, okay, and it will treat these the same as it did earlier, okay. It's 25 and 25. Oh, it might be a problem because I'm just like, here we are. They might say, no, we can't do it because here we are. Here's an example, actually. This is a complete accident, but it's worked out really well, okay. So here you can see that it's given me my problem, okay. So it says the problem is here in line 11, and the answer is, you can see here, it says you can't multiply a sequence of non-integer types of str, okay, so string. So it even says the problem is in line 11. So I've got line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So here we go. You can see number 11 here, and you can see the problems here. Can't get past that bit, okay. Right, now I'm going to demonstrate to you. So I'm just going to hash these out. So they've become comments now. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate the float. Okay, so, and it's the same here as well. So I'm going to put in num1 again. I probably didn't need to hash it out, but never mind. Okay, and I'm going to put in float input. And this is where here you might want to start doing some mathematical calculations. Okay, of your choice, of course. Enter a number. Okay, close both sets of brackets, and I'm just going to copy this, and I'm just going to paste it, and I'm going to change my variable here to num2. Okay, and I'm going to type in print. Okay, and like, for example, here, if you wanted, you could do another variable called answer, and then ask it to put num1 add num2. Okay, and then just say print answer. There we go. Oops, hopefully you could see the mistake I just made there. Okay, now here I'm going to put in, okay, enter a number. So I'm going to put in 2.5. Then I'm going to enter 33.333, see what happens. And there you go, it gives me my answer. But what about if I change these to int? What would be the problem there? Let's take a look. So I'm going to put in 2555. Straight away it says here, valid literal for integer because it wants a base 10 number, okay? And we know what base 10 numbers are. We've done our hexadecimal numbers. So you can see there that the data types are, you know, important, and they do place, you know, emphasis on your program and, you know, make sure everything runs correctly. Okay, so I'm going to run that again just for the sake of it. There we go. Okay, perfect. Right, so now character. Now this one's slightly different. Okay, so I'm going to hashtag this out, and I'm going to show you the Boolean as well. Okay, some of them you might not use today in the next task. Right, so character. So I'm going to put... yes, I know what I'm going to do. Right, print. Okay, so I'm going to ask it to print, and I'm going to put CHR. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to put in 97. Okay, and it's going to print it. So I'm going to ask it to print a character. Okay, so that's A. Right, so what it does is character. So for example, if I put in CHR, because it turns a number into, so you can see this is returning the Unicode string. So we've done the difference between Unicode and ASCII and so on. So we're going to see what it returns, okay? In fact, you might have done this in class one day, I can't remember. So 32, let's see what happens. and we're going to run it and print it and see what goes on here. Okay, and it comes back, you can see there, it come back blank. Why did it come back blank? Now, if you remember, 32 in ASCII and Unicode is space, it's the space bar, okay? So here you can just try and just print different characters. So print CHR, I'm going to put in 66. You know, you can do this alongside me if you want, or you can pause if you like. There we go, and it's come back with capital letter B. Okay, now the last one before I set you onto your task is Boolean, and it holds either true or false. Okay, so it's simply true or false. Now, for example, with this, now Boolean is only useful within a program structure. You might not use this in the next task. Okay, so if I was to put in age, bowl input, are you over 18? Okay, if I was to do that now, right, so you can use this, all right? So are you over 18? Now, if I was to run this and I typed in yes, it will come, oops, I forgot to put the print. Oh dear, okay, print age. Okay, in fact, I'm just going to hash these out. Right, print age, hang on, it's going to come back with a error. Right, okay, are you over 18? So if I typed yes, it will come back true. Brilliant, okay, but if I typed in no, it will come back true. You can already see a problem with that. Now, what Boolean does is Boolean will mark whether, you know, we leave it blank or not. So if I type in, are you over 18? Leave blank if you are not. Okay. So if I just simply did this, so are you over 18? True. It will come back true. Right. Now, if I run this again, are you over 18? Leave blank if you're not. If I just simply press enter and leave it blank, it will come back false. Okay. So that's obviously used within different kinds of programming structures. Whatever you if you did say a book database, have you read the book? Leave it blank, it will come up false. Okay. Right. Now, what you're going to do, this is your task, is you're going to create a form in Python. Okay. So you can decorate it as pretty as you want. So for example, like I might put print and speech marks, and I might put a load of lines here, okay, and then put print, welcome to my club. Okay, so when it opens, so when it prints up, it's got some, you know, and so when it prints up, I've got a nice little welcome thing here, and put some, let's put some pretty stars there. There we go. There we are. Okay, and I might want some spaces there. So if I was to run this, obviously it's going to do the whole Boolean thing first. There we go. You can see what it looks like. So you can print, you can decorate it. I'll give you an idea. Okay, and you want people to register online. In Python, create a form for users to fill in. Okay, you're using as many data structures as you can. Okay, so remember our string, character if it's necessary, which I doubt it is, Boolean if you can fit it in, integers, floats, that kind of thing. If you want to calculate a membership price, do that. Go as far as you like with this. Okay. Now, once it's done, save the Python file onto your Google Drive. So save it on your computer first. Drag and drop it onto your Google Drive, okay, and then upload it as an assignment. Okay, right guys, best of luck, enjoy.